Your family, your health, our passion. This is Family Practice with Dr. Jeffrey Fox, sponsored by Family Practice Associates of Lexington, PSC. Visit us at fpalex.com and like us on Facebook.
Welcome back. This is a combination Family Practice Associates and Community Resource section. I happen to think Family Practice Associates is a community resource and is the best in Lexington. And here to represent them, my next guest is Miss Gina Jacobs, who has been with Family Practice Associates for 40 plus years. And last month, or this month, is your retirement month. So people out there, they'll recognize your voice, but now they get to see your face.
Thank you, Dr. Fox.
My other guest is Dr. Keith Applegate, my original partner at Family Practice Associates, my friend, and president of Family Practice Associates. And you've been around for about 40 years, too.
Boy, you're making me sound old, Jeffrey.
A lot of gray hair on this stage.
A lot of gray hair.
All right, so let's talk about 40 years, how things have changed. And I'll start with you, Dr. Applegate. For me, it's got to be the electronic health record, but what do you think?
Well, yes, we've come a long way from paper charts where we were constantly looking for a chart in the office to the point of the electronic health record. Good and bad aspects of that. The good aspect of the electronic health record is easy access to the information for our patients as we're seeing them, and so we're able to get that information to the patient in real time. The bad part is that as providers, we find ourselves tied to that electronic medical record and looking at the electronic medical record and not the patient. And I think that patient-doctor provider relationship suffers in part because of the loss of eye contact, and many times the provider feels that the EMR is what we have to do to log everything.
Takes more time for you in the room, takes more time after they're gone, too.
It certainly does, and so it's not something that as providers that we love. We lose that personal time with our patients. Many hours are spent after the patient leaves, late evenings, on the average 1 to 2 hours each night after we've seen patients in the office.
Now, Gina, the scheduling maybe got a little easier with it or not?
Oh, definitely easier, because when we had an appointment book, basically only one person could schedule, so you'd have to fight over this book saying, give me that. But with a computer, anybody in the office who has a terminal, they can schedule, so it makes it a lot easier.
So it's easier, but let's talk a little bit about volume, too. I mean, you answer literally thousands of phone calls.
Oh, yeah.
Are you able to, sometimes there's just no place to put them. What do you do? What do you say to them?
Oh, goodness. Well, you'd try and suggest maybe a different provider. If they're wanting a certain one, you maybe try and talk them into a different provider. Of course, we have providers who are there to take acute appointments, things that are emergency. We try and do that the same day. But yeah, we just basically sort of finagle and do the best we can sometimes.
And doing the best you can, because the volume is just sometimes overwhelming. There's not enough providers, Dr. Applegate. There's going to be a doctor shortage?
Doctor shortage definitely, certainly in primary care. A big shortage of physicians, nurse practitioners. It is grueling, it's demanding, hours are long, and so for that tends to scare a lot of people away.
Now, you mentioned nurse practitioners. We are using more nurse practitioners and extenders.
Yes, we are, because of the shortage of physicians. Many physicians coming out of medical school have huge debt, huge loans, actually about 10 times higher than what we did when we came out of school. And so in order to service those loans, they have to look for other avenues of revenue. So that takes them away from primary care. And so as a result, there's a bigger void to fill. And so nurse practitioners, physician assistants are able to fill those voids.
Gina, when people call for an appointment, are they resistant to seeing a nurse practitioner?
Maybe just a little bit. Most of them really realize that, at least once they see them, that they're a great provider. They can do everything that the doctors do. So I think, if you just give them a little bit of a push, they'll go for it and see them.
What do you miss the most?
I would say it's got to be the patients. You know, I remember back to times when there would be a patient who would come in just unexpectedly and bring us, you know, fried chicken and green beans and butterscotch pie, and I mean that was the best day. Great day, but it's the patients that I missed.
They do. Well, you know, and I said the patients would get to see your face. They've heard your voice. You've been a lifeline for them, and you've been. I didn't say you were a help to me for those 40 years.
Well, I'm glad to do it.
All right. We talked a little bit about a few things. We mentioned electronic medical records, but patients also have a lot of access to the internet. And do they, Dr. Applegate, they come in the rooms with their diagnosis already made in their mind?
Many times, and patients have researched, brought information, sometimes brought information that really isn't appropriate to their symptoms, and many times we have to bring patients back into orbit. Patients oftentimes come in upset with a potential diagnosis. Of course, the thing that everyone's afraid of is whether or not they have something that's terminal. And in medicine, and just like in life, common things commonly. And one of the aspects about the internet is it's full of information. But as providers, we have that information plus the experience and being able to fit and make proper judgments.
So when they call for an appointment, you have to talk them off the ledge sometime?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, if you have to calm them down and say, well, let's don't jump the gun. Let's just come in and we'll see what it is and go from there.
All right. The other thing that's a big deal is the cost of medicine, okay? Now, insurance has changed. The deductibles are higher. Everything's higher. Does it affect care?
It affects the patient's access to care. Many times patients are apprehensive about seeing us. They're apprehensive about seeing the specialist. Many times patients will ask me to assume their care that was previously rendered by a specialist because simply the copay is less expensive in the primary care's office as opposed to the specialist's office. So patients are very savvy in 1987 versus 2025. There is a difference of the patient and the sophistication of the patient as they come to see us.
All right. The other thing, just touch on for me, and I don't know, Gina, if you hear when people call her Dr. Applegate, you hear it in the room, is the cost of drugs are sometimes overwhelming.
Absolutely. Astronomical. They'll even skip taking a pill here or there just to try and make it last longer because it costs them so much to get it. So they might only take it 3 or 4 times a week instead of 7 days a week like they should be taking it.
Are there things you can do to fix that?
Well, you know, we try our best, but I would say one area that we see this big is with our diabetic patients. Diabetes is not controlled with a single one medication. And I'm talking about adult onset diabetics who are usually on multiple medications. And there are several different classes of medicines, and we use a combination of these multiple classes. And unfortunately, the price on these medicines is very high, and as a result, patients have complications of diabetes because their diabetes is out of control. And we try to work with patients and try to optimize generic medications. We try to use community resources, and so it becomes a challenge.
Real quickly, before we finish here, I ask you what you like. You like fried chicken and that kind of stuff. What do you like best?
About my entire day, I enjoy talking to my patients. And that's probably to a fault because sometimes I spend a little too much time in the room with patients and
yeah,
the
you're
others
talking
suffer.
too much here. We got to get out of here.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks you guys for coming in, and thanks for all you do, and thanks for being my friends.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all for watching. If you'd like to watch this episode again or past episodes, you can access them through the Family Practice Associates website at fpalex.com. Again, thanks for watching and join us next month for more great healthcare information on family practice.